Blizzard, let's chat!
What's up guys, Crone here, bringing you episode 4 of Blizz Let's Chat, where we do PvP discussion and I take questions from you guys and answer them. Okay, today's topic is the part of the patch notes, well, the hotfixes to DKs. And so, basically, what they got is a lot of damage buffs. And I'm just going to read them out for you. Icy Talons now increases attack speed by 30%. It was 25%. Might of the Frozen Waste now increases melee attack damage by 20%, and it was 15%. Threat of Pharasian now increases the damage of Froststrike by 50%, and it was 40%. Now, these are all buffs directly to Frost, and I just want to throw it out to you guys. DKs did the most sustained damage in 5.1, right? So that means, you know, they were, you know, where you are, like, roughly on average of all classes, right, bar DKs. So, you were, let's say you did 30k DPS, so that's probably a really low number, right? And in your burst, you did 60k DPS. DKs, right, didn't have burst as such, but they did 45k DPS. So, they was in between all the time. So, whenever they was hitting you, you felt it. It didn't feel like, you know, they was going to smash you in a second. But then, you know, they just got buffed in damage. And they also got some other buffs before. But I just wanted to talk about this because it came up in the hotfixes. And basically Blizzard haven't really been talking much about like why they've done something or whatever so much recently. So I thought I'd just give you this as my topic. And I just want to let's just say, right, DKs were doing the best damage without cooldowns, and now they're doing even more damage. How is everyone else meant to keep up? Like, Rogues obviously got buffed massively, so they're going to keep up. But, just on damage in the sense then. But, like, how is everyone else going to keep up? Like, you know, I don't really get it. I don't understand why you'd want to buff DK's damage. Like, DKs was just screaming, like, we want more survivability. We used to be the tankiest class in the game, and now we don't even have anywhere near any tankiness apart from in our blood spec, and that's only against melee, and I don't know. But they, you know, you can see their point. They wanted defensives because they didn't have great utility, although they reduced the cooldowns a load of stuff, so that, you know, obviously is going to make them super trainy. They're going to, obviously, TSG's going to come back, like, heavily, and it's going to be like, it'll be like, so, here's the comps that's going to be going around a lot of, right? DK, Monk, Rogue, right? Any of those together, right? Maybe Warrior, you could throw that in there as well. Any of those. I think DK Ret, Healer is probably going to be good, really good as well. Just, there's a lot of these comps that are just, like, going to spawn out of nowhere, where it's just, like, big cleave comps. Especially with, I think, what the best comp, in my opinion, I reckon, will probably be, and this is just my guess, though, is Mistweaver Monk, right? DK and Rogue, right? So you AoE staff all the way into the gates, right? Any melee team you've just they've instantly won against because you've got AoE disarm, unless the enemy team have 2 monks or something for some reason, but you get the idea, right? So you get in there, right? You silence or disarm any melee, so the melee would be gone or whatever, and then you just pop in your cooldowns on the enemy healer, and you've got a rogue that's doing ridiculous amounts of damage. If you run away, he's still doing ridiculous amounts of damage. I can't see that losing so well. And, you know, DKs are just going to smash the shit into everyone. And they've got, like, really low cooldown on the stun and silence now. So just stun, silence, goodbye, everyone. And I could just see them being wrecking machines. Like, they just sort of was like, you know what? This cannon that we call DKs, not hard enough. Like, yeah, they're still going to take quite a bit of damage. But then they also got a little bit of damage reduction added in. And, you know, there's some skill play in it. So they can also be even better at damage reduction stuff. Then, so like you can kite well as a DK, but you can be kited even better because they don't have any way out of slows and roots and stuff as such. But if you just look at general, DKs look to be really strong, and I would say Blizzard, why would you buff somebody that needed defensives in offense? Like, why are you doing that? I can understand. Maybe they just don't want DKs to do anything other than damage. You know, Warriors is it's sort of like Warriors, and they was like, right. So, Warrior's damage is too much. And I know they love Warrior damage, but, like, Warrior's damage is too much, so we're gonna nerf utility. Like, no, just nerf the damage. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you know, I think they should be trying to balance out each part of every class, rather than trying to make niches for certain ones. Because it kind of wrecks people. Like, or say this then, so it's like, everyone has, like, the same defensives. So, like, everyone has the same defensives. And then, and everyone has a same offensive and the same utility, right? But then everyone has one thing they excel in. So like Ret Paladins, utility, right? They don't excel in damage, they don't excel in, you know, anything else. Let's just say that. So like they're good at like healing, hand of protection, hand of sacrifice, you know, that sort of stuff. So that would be their niche then, right? So you have like rogues, and you could say theirs is control. So like CC, and you know, so like slows and roots or stuns and stuff like whatever, you know. So like there's their niche, and you just chuck people into niches. And then you could even do it into specs as well. So like Fury does more damage. Arms is more about mobility, whatever. You know, they could go and put this into the way. And I really would like to see the game be put like that. Is like everyone has an average. They try to average out everyone's defensives and all this other stuff. And then everyone has a niche. And then that would be a lot easier to balance than what it is currently. Because it's sort of like, you know, you could complain if you was playing like, let's say he was playing a mage and a warrior did more damage than you, and you was playing arcane, and arcane's like, do lots of damage. And it's like, I was playing against a warrior and he did more damage than me, and he was playing arms. We have the same standard of gear, you know, we're both in full Malevolent. And then Blizzard couldn't say anything to you. They could be like, alright, so we obviously need to either nerf warrior damage or buff arcane damage, right? Like, one of the two, and if you're comparing it across everyone, and, you know, you could work it out then. You could average out things, and I think that would make the game a lot better. Obviously, you still have counter comps and all this other crap, but I think that would balance out things. You could also switch people in and out a lot easier, because you could just be like, alright, so we're going to play a comp where we have heavy CC from a Frost Mage, and we have heavy damage from a warrior, and then we have a healer to fill in the utility slot. So, like, we're going to play with a Paladin, and then that comp would work kind of thing. You could have, like, these little triangles. Maybe that's just me and my ideas. Okay, on to the second part of the video, where we talk about things that people have said or sent messages into. And I actually found this from somewhere, and I was like, this is quite a funny thing for me to talk about. So I'm not actually, this hasn't actually been sent in to me. I probably need more questions to come in, to be honest, but because I haven't had a lot of great ones, and that's actually kind of awkward, isn't it? Because I've not gone that far into the series, and I'm starting to get some awkward questions. So if you think you have a good question, even if you already have your own opinion about it, I'd like to hear it, so I could maybe talk about it, and maybe you'll see something that you didn't see before, and, you know, things might feel a little bit better in the sense then. So here's the question anyway. Right, it's from a guy called Nature Now, and he says, 40-second shockwave, is that too big of a nerf? And this is off of somebody's Twitch stream. And I was like, right, warriors were really, really overpowered, but I still think 40-second shockwave, right, to double is a bit harsh. And I think, really, it should only be 30 seconds, or 35 maybe, because it does mean that everyone re-rolled to Bladestorm, and they did buff Bladestorm as well. And, you know, they still have their other stuns and stuff, and I think the AoE stun was kind of working for them. I would have said, if it was me, I would have said, look, let's just nerf the damage on Shockwave. It doesn't need to do loads of damage. It never made any sense that it did loads of damage. And, you know, like, if we still want it to do lots of fret or whatever because of the damage, we can just buff the fret. That's fine. And we're going to chuck it. I would be like, right, chuck it in a place where it's like 35-second cooldown, right? If they don't catch more than so many people in it, so like 3 or whatever it is. And have it 20 if they catch 3. And then have it and just lower the damage a bit, because it doesn't need to do loads of damage. And I think that was why it felt crazy broken at times. But maybe that was just me though. Like, it was just like, it was on top of being stunned and everyone else in your team being stunned, you all got hit for like 60, 70k, and it's like, that shouldn't happen. Seems to have like stacked resilience to max. But, you know, if they reduce that down to say like 20k, you'd be like, that's alright. It's not, you're not the massivest thing in the world. It's fine. And I would be quite happy on that. And so that was the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Blizz Let's Chat. If you did, feel free to like and comment. I will really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to send in mail to crowhunmail@gmail.com. It'll be on the screen right now. Also, feel free to comment in the comment section below any questions you have. I might have to start making these like every other day or something, so I can actually get a good range of questions, because it feels like I'm not getting them in fast enough. Maybe it's just I'm not big enough to be able to do that, but I can still talk about the other stuff that I wanted to talk about. So I might just do that and then do the question answer thing every other day or something like that, unless I start to get some more decent questions in, because, you know, stuff like, you know, what resolution do you record in? And I was like, I could probably answer that, but I'd take like a 2-second video thing, and then really, like, you should know, like, that from based off the video anyway, like, you know, 1920 by 1080, 1080p. If you look at what the quality of the video is, it's 1080p. I thought that, you know, that's like a standard, like, because obviously it's widescreen, so you know it's not like 1080p by 1080p, so you just, that's the ratios, right? And I thought that would be like an instant click in your head, same as 720p is 1290 by 720. You know, those sort of numbers will come out like that, and I thought that was just a, you know, maybe it is just me that didn't, you know that, but that's like one of the questions I had. So obviously I'd really appreciate if you just sent in any question you have to do with WoW. You know, it doesn't have to be monks, it can be any class. You know, I talk about it pretty much every class, so anything would be great. And I would really appreciate it. Just like some more quality questions. Like I said, even if you know the answers to them, or you have your own opinion on it, maybe just like me saying it will make other people think that, like, even if I have the same opinion as you, other people might start to think the same opinion as you, and they might start to speak out about it. Like, let's say you think Hunter's power shot is hitting too hard, and then, you know, you still like, oh, do you think power shot's hitting too hard? And I could talk to you about it, like, give some theory on it, and then maybe you'll see it in a different way. And also, everyone else might see it in a different way, and then maybe they'll talk about it on forums, maybe it'll get nerfed, whatever. You get the idea. You know, that's how things move, I guess. And I will leave you guys there. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.